Let's start with a truth that might feel unsettling. That little cuff squeezing your arm at the doctor's office is just measuring numbers. It's measuring the literal pressure your blood is exerting on the 60,000 miles of pipelines inside you. And for millions of seniors, that pressure is silently, relentlessly sandblasting the delicate lining of your arteries, setting the stage for a catastrophe you might not see coming until it's too late. We've been conditioned to think of high blood pressure or hypertension as just a number on a chart, a mild scolding from your physician, maybe a prescription to be filled and forgotten. But I want you to visualize something far more visceral. Imagine your cardiovascular system as the most intricate, vital garden hose imaginable, a hose that must last a lifetime. Now, imagine forcing water through that hose at a pressure far higher than it was designed to handle day after day, year after year. What happens? The hose stiffens. It develops tiny, weak spots. The connections strain. Eventually, it bursts. In your body, that burst is a stroke, a heart attack, an aneurysm. This isn't merely about statistics. It's about the quality of the life you've worked so hard to build. The good news, the powerful, empowering news, is that your body possesses a profound ability to heal and regulate itself. And the lever for that control isn't found solely in a pill bottle. It's found in the daily choices you make. This video is your comprehensive, evidence-based blueprint to pulling that lever. We are going to move beyond the generic eat better and exercise advice. Dive deep into the specific, actionable, and scientifically proven strategies that seniors can use to not just manage, but genuinely lower their blood pressure, naturally reinforcing the very walls of those pipelines. And this journey begins not with a drastic overhaul, but with understanding. The single most powerful element you consume every single day, an element you likely aren't even thinking about as you sprinkle it on your food, an element that has orchestrated a hidden epidemic, salt. But it's not just the salt shaker's fault. The real villain is hidden in plain sight in over 70% of processed and packaged foods, from breads and soups to salad dressings and even sweet cookies. The connection between sodium intake and blood pressure isn't a myth. It's a direct physiological relationship. When you consume excess sodium, your bloodstream holds onto more water to dilute that salt. More water volume means more pressure against your blood vessel walls. It's simple hydraulics. For many seniors whose blood vessels have naturally become less flexible over time, this pressure hits harder. The goal isn't to eliminate salt. Your body needs some sodium to function, but to strategically reduce it to a therapeutic level. Research from the New England Journal of Medicine suggests that even a modest reduction of just 1,000 milligrams of sodium per day can significantly lower systolic blood pressure. So what does that look like in practice? It starts with becoming a detective in your own kitchen. Put down the salt shaker and instead explore the world of herbs and spices. Garlic powder, onion powder, rosemary, thyme, smoked paprika, cumin, and citrus. Zest can create layers of flavor that make you forget about salt entirely. Next, you must become a relentless label reader. Look for sodium, soda, and Na on ingredient labels. Aim for packaged items that contain less than 140 milligrams of sodium per serving. Be exceptionally wary of low-fat products, as manufacturers often compensate for lost flavor by loading them with salt. When cooking, add salt at the end of the process. You'll use far less, because the taste is on the surface of the food. And perhaps most importantly, increase your intake of potassium-rich foods like bananas, sweet potatoes, spinach, beans, and avocado. Potassium acts as a natural counterbalance to sodium, helping your kidneys flush out the excess. This isn't about deprivation. It's about substitution and rediscovery. By making your palate sensitive to real food again, you're not just lowering a number, you're taking direct sovereign control over one of the most powerful levers of your cardiovascular health. And this is just the first foundational step, because once you've begun to master the sodium-potassium balance, you're ready to harness the power of a specific type of nutrient that actively scrubs your arteries clean and tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. But before we get to that, I need you to do something for me right now. If this makes sense, if you're ready to take this kind of control, hit the like button below. It tells YouTube that this is important, valuable information. It helps me know I'm on the right track, helping people like you. Now let's keep going, building on that foundation of mineral balance. We now turn to a category of foods so potent in their blood pressure lowering effects that they've been formally recognized by health organizations worldwide as a first-line dietary strategy. I'm talking about the foods rich in dietary nitrates, flavonoids, and fiber trinitio, nutrients that work in concert to restore vascular elasticity and calm inflammation. Let's start with the surprising hero beets, or more specifically, beetroot juice. This isn't an old wives' tale, it's hardcore science. Beetroots are loaded with inorganic nitrates. When you consume them, your body converts these nitrates into nitric oxide, a miraculous molecule. Nitric oxide is a powerful vasodilator, meaning it signals the smooth muscles in your blood vessel walls to relax and expand. Wider vessels mean lower resistance, which translates directly to lower blood pressure. Studies, including one published in the American Heart Association journal Hypertension, have shown that drinking a cup of beetroot juice daily can lead to a significant drop in systolic blood pressure, sometimes by as much as 4 to 5 points within just a few hours, with a sustained effect. The effect is so pronounced that some athletes use it for performance enhancement. For seniors, this is a natural, food-based therapy. But beets aren't the only player. We have the entire family of leafy greens, spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard. These are also rich in nitrates, as well as magnesium and potassium, creating a triple action effect. Then we have the flavonoid powerhouses, berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries are packed with anthocyanins, antioxidants that protect the lining of your blood vessels, your endothelium from oxidative damage. A damaged endothelium is less able to produce nitric oxide. So by protecting it, you preserve your body's own ability to regulate pressure. The famous dietary approaches to stop hypertension, or DASH diet, heavily features these foods, and its results are not theoretical. It's a dietary pattern proven to lower blood pressure as effectively as some medications for many individuals. The DASH diet emphasizes fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean protein, and low-fat dairy while reducing saturated fat and, of course, sodium. But I want to zoom in on one critical, often overlooked component of this approach: fiber. Specifically soluble fiber, found in oats, barley, beans, lentils, apples, and citrus fruits. Soluble fiber forms a gel in your digestive tract. This gel does two incredible things for blood pressure. First, it binds to cholesterol particles and helps escort them out of your body, preventing the plaque buildup that stiffens arteries. Second, and less known, it feeds the trillions of beneficial bacteria in your gut. Why does that matter? Emerging research in the field of gut microbiome science reveals that these bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids from the fiber we eat. These fatty acids, like butyrate, travel through our bloodstream and have been shown to have a direct regulatory effect on blood pressure by influencing kidney function and vascular health. So that bowl of oatmeal isn't just filling, it's feeding an internal pharmacy that manufactures its own blood pressure medicine. Implementing this isn't about a dramatic beat, juice cleanse, it's about strategic addition. Start your day with a bowl of oatmeal topped with berries and a sprinkle of ground flaxseed. Incorporate a large, colorful salad with leafy greens and a lemon herb vinaigrette into your lunch. Snack on a handful of almonds and an apple. For dinner, make half your plate non-starchy vegetables. Have a small glass of beetroot juice or a side of roasted beets a few times a week. You are not just eating, you are conducting a daily symphony of biological repair, telling your blood vessels to relax, shielding them from damage, and cleansing the very pathways your life depends on. This nutritional approach forms the core of natural management. But food alone, while powerful, is only part of the equation. To truly master your blood pressure, you must address a silent, insidious force that tightens every muscle in your body, including those surrounding your arteries, a force that is particularly pervasive in modern life, but has ancient physiological roots. I'm talking about stress, and the way to combat it isn't by trying to eliminate it entirely, which is impossible, but by activating a built-in circuit breaker you carry with you every moment, your breath. And I'll show you exactly how to use it right after you take a quick second to subscribe to this channel. Subscribing is absolutely free, and it ensures you don't miss the next crucial piece of this puzzle, the powerful connection between your nervous system and your blood pressure, which we're covering next. Click that subscribe button and the bell icon, and let's continue. We've nourished the body with specific foods. Now we must address the mind-body connection, because no discussion of blood pressure is complete without confronting the elephant in the room, stress. When you experience stress, be it from traffic, financial worry, or even an argument, your body's ancient fight or flight system, the sympathetic nervous system, kicks into high gear. It releases a flood of hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate accelerates, your muscles tense, and critically, your blood vessels constrict. This is a brilliant short-term survival mechanism to prepare you for action. But in our modern world, where stressors are chronic and psychological rather than acute and physical, this system gets stuck in the on position. For seniors who may also be dealing with life transitions, health concerns, or social isolation, this chronic low-grade stress can keep blood vessels in a state of perpetual tension, like a clenched fist that never relaxes, driving up blood pressure day after day. The antidote to this isn't a life free of stress. It's the regular, deliberate activation of its opposite, the rest and digest system, the parasympathetic nervous system. And the most direct, accessible, and scientifically validated tool to flip this switch is something you're doing right now, but you're probably doing it unconsciously, breathing. Not just any breathing, but slow, deep, diaphragmatic breathing. Here's the powerful mechanism. When you take a slow, deep breath in, especially emphasizing a longer, slow exhale, you stimulate the vagus nerve, the main cable of your parasympathetic nervous system. This sends a direct signal to your heart to slow down and to your blood vessels to dilate. It's a physiological command to stand down from high alert. Studies have shown that practicing just 5 to 10 minutes of deep breathing twice a day can lead to measurable reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure over time. One particularly effective technique is called box breathing, or 4 to 7 minus 8 breathing. Here's how you do it. Sit comfortably with your back straight. Inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Now hold your breath for a count of 7. Then exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, making a gentle whoosh sound for a count of 8. That's one cycle. Repeat this for just 4 cycles. The extended exhale is key. It's during the exhale that the vagus nerve is most strongly stimulated. This isn't meditation in the traditional sense. It's a targeted biohack for your cardiovascular system. Pair this with another profound practice, mindful walking. This isn't about speed or distance, it's about sensory immersion. Go for a 15 to 20 minute walk, preferably in a green space. As you walk, consciously notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel: the breeze, the sun, the ground under your feet, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This practice of grounding yourself in the present moment pulls you out of the stress-inducing narratives of the past or future and anchors you in the now, further calming the nervous system. Furthermore, don't underestimate the power of social connection. Loneliness and isolation are potent chronic stressors. Making time for a phone call with a friend, joining a club, attending a community class, or even volunteering provides a sense of belonging and purpose that actively counteracts stress hormones. Think of these practices not as optional relaxation techniques, but as non-negotiable maintenance for your autonomic nervous system, the unseen pilot of your blood pressure. You are manually taking the controls from a panicked co-pilot and guiding the plane to smoother air by dedicating just 15 to 20 minutes a day to breath work and mindful presence. You are effectively giving your arteries a daily massage, telling them it's safe to relax. This mind-body approach, combined with targeted nutrition, creates a formidable 1-2 punch. But to lock in these gains and build a resilient system, we must address the very framework that holds you up, your musculoskeletal system. Because how you move your body doesn't just build muscle, it fundamentally remodels your heart and rewires your blood pressure set point. And the most effective type of movement for this isn't what you might think it's not about. Running marathons, it's about something far more sustainable and powerful for seniors. Before we dive into that, if this video is providing you with value, please take a second to share it. Share it with a friend, a family member, or in a group where it could help others. You might just give someone the key they've been looking for. Now, let's talk about movement. The conversation about exercise and blood pressure for seniors has often been muddied by extremes. On one hand, the fear of overexertion, and on the other, the vague advice to just move more. Let's bring crystal clarity with a concept called cardio-metabolic exercise. The goal isn't to become an athlete, it's to strategically stress your cardiovascular system in a way that makes it more efficient, stronger, and better at regulating pressure at rest. The most important type of exercise for lowering blood pressure is, unequivocally, aerobic exercise. Steady state activities that raise your heart rate and breathing for a sustained period. When you engage in regular aerobic activity, such as brisk walking, cycling, swimming, or even vigorous gardening, several transformative adaptations occur. First, your heart muscle becomes stronger. A stronger heart can pump more blood with each beat, so it doesn't have to work as hard or beat as fast to meet your body's demands. This lower resting heart rate is a key marker of cardiovascular fitness and directly reduces the workload on your system. Second, aerobic exercise stimulates the creation of new tiny blood vessels, a process called angiogenesis. This creates a richer, more dense network of capillaries in your muscles, which reduce peripheral resistance. Imagine adding more lanes to a highway to ease traffic congestion. The blood has more pathways to flow, reducing the overall pressure in the main arteries. Third, and this is critical, exercise improves the elasticity of your arteries themselves. It helps maintain the function of the endothelium, that lining we discussed, so it can produce nitric oxide more effectively. The official recommendation from the American Heart Association is at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week. For seniors, moderate intensity can be perfectly defined by the talk test. You should be working at a level where you can carry on a conversation, but would struggle to sing a song. A daily 30-minute brisk walk is the gold standard and meets this requirement perfectly. But I want to introduce a powerful, often neglected complement to aerobic work, resistance training. The thought of lifting weights might conjure images of bodybuilders, but for blood pressure management, we're talking about light to moderate resistance, using light dumbbells, resistance bands, or even your own body weight for exercise, like seated leg lifts, wall push-ups, or chair squats has a unique benefit. When you build lean muscle mass, You create more metabolic tissue that helps regulate blood sugar and improves overall metabolism. More importantly, resistance training causes temporary acute increase in blood pressure during the exercise, which sounds counterintuitive. But this actually trains your blood vessels and your body's pressure regulation systems to become more responsive and resilient. The key is to focus on controlled movements. Exhaling during the exertion phase, never hold your breath. And using a weight that allows for 10 to 15 repetitions without straining. Start with 1 or 2 sets twice a week on non-consecutive days. The synergy is powerful. Aerobic exercise trains your system for endurance and efficiency, while resistance training builds the structural strength of both muscle and vascular responsiveness. Together they remodel your cardiovascular system from the inside out. But there is a final crucial pillar that ties all of this together, a pillar that is frequently destroyed by a common yet devastating habit. This habit directly attacks your arteries, cancels out the benefits of exercise, and sabotages your nutritional efforts. It's a habit so normalized that we often forget it's a direct poison to our goal of lower blood pressure. I'm talking about poor sleep and specifically the rampant issue of sleep apnea, and addressing this might be the single most impactful change you can make, which we will explore right after I ask for your engagement once more. If you're finding this deep dive valuable, I would be incredibly grateful if you could leave a comment below. Just write BP for blood pressure. It helps this video reach more people who need this information, and it lets me know what matters to you. Now, let's tackle the silent nighttime saboteur. You can eat all the beets in the world, breathe deeply, and walk daily. But if you are systematically depriving your body of deep restorative sleep, you are fighting an uphill battle with a heavy weight on your back. Sleep is not downtime. It is essential, active maintenance time for your cardiovascular system. During deep sleep, your heart rate slows. Your blood pressure naturally dips, a phenomenon called nocturnal dipping. This dip is crucial. It gives your arteries a break from the constant pressure of the day. However, for many seniors, this restorative dip is blunted or absent, often due to a condition called obstructive sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is characterized by repeated pauses in breathing throughout the night, sometimes hundreds of times. Each time you stop breathing, oxygen levels in your blood plummet. Your brain, in a panic, sends a surge of adrenaline to jerk you awake just enough to restart breathing. This cycle of adrenaline spikes places enormous stress on your heart and blood vessels, keeping your blood pressure elevated all night long. It's like having someone startle you with a loud alarm every few minutes while you're trying to rest. The result? You wake up feeling unrefreshed, and your blood pressure starts the day already high. The link between untreated sleep apnea and resistant hypertension is one of the strongest in cardiovascular medicine. The symptoms can be subtle: loud, chronic snoring, often with gasping or choking sounds daytime. Fatigue despite a full night in bed, morning headaches, and waking up with a dry mouth. If any of this sounds familiar, discussing it with your doctor and considering sleep study is not an overreaction. It is a potentially life-saving intervention. Treatment, often with a CPAP machine that keeps your airway open, can dramatically lower nighttime and daytime blood pressure. But beyond sleep apnea, general sleep hygiene is vital. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night. Create a cool, dark, and quiet sleep environment. Establish a consistent wind-down routine an hour before bed. Turn off screens. The blue light suppresses melatonin. Read a physical book, listen to calming music, or practice your 4 to 7-8 breathing. Avoid large meals, caffeine, and alcohol close to bedtime, as they can disrupt sleep architecture. Prioritizing sleep is prioritizing your blood pressure medication. Now let's weave every single strand we've discussed into a single powerful daily protocol. Imagine your day as a holistic prescription. You wake up and drink a large glass of water. You practice 5 minutes of 4 to 7-8 breathing. You have a breakfast of oatmeal with berries and flaxseed. You go for a 30-minute brisk walk in a park, practicing mindfulness as you go. For lunch, a large salad with leafy greens, beans, and a lemon herb dressing. In the afternoon, you do a short 10-minute session of resistance band exercises. For dinner, a piece of baked salmon with roasted sweet potatoes and steamed broccoli seasoned with herbs. You have a small glass of beetroot juice. You connect with a loved one on the phone. You wind down without screens, read, and get into a cool, dark room for 8 hours of sleep. This isn't a fantasy, it's a completely achievable blueprint. Each component: sodium management, nitrate-rich foods, fiber, breath work. Aerobic and resistance exercise and sleep acts synergistically. They are not isolated tips. They are interlocking gears in a machine designed for vascular health. One lowers peripheral resistance, another improves vessel elasticity, another calms the nervous system, another strengthens the heart. Together, they don't just manage hypertension, they assault it from every conceivable angle, giving your body the raw materials and the conditions it needs to heal itself. This is the power of a natural, comprehensive, lifestyle-based approach. It requires commitment, yes, but it returns something far more valuable than the effort you put in: agency. It gives you back the control that you might have felt you lost to a diagnosis or a prescription bottle. You become the architect of your own vitality. Pharmaceuticals have their vital place, and you should never alter medication without your doctor's guidance, but these strategies empower you to build a foundation so strong that medication might become a smaller part of the picture, always under professional supervision. You have the knowledge. You understand the mechanisms. You now possess the map. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Maybe today that step is putting down the salt shaker. Tomorrow, it's a 10-minute walk. The day after, it's trying the 4 to 7-8 breathing. Build one habit upon the next. Your body is listening, and it is waiting for you to give it the command to heal. This is your moment. Don't let this information remain just information. Choose one thing from this video, just one, and implement it starting tomorrow. Your blood vessels, your heart, your brain will thank you for years to come. And if this deep dive has helped you, has given you hope and a plan, then do me this one last favor: hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and most importantly, share this video with someone you care about. Share it with your spouse, your sibling, your friend from your community group. You have no idea who might be silently struggling with this, feeling powerless. By sharing this, you could literally change or even save a life. That's the power of knowledge passed on. Thank you for watching, for caring about your health, and for being here. I believe in your ability to make these changes. Now, go out there and take that first step. I'll see you in the next video.